How you doing, YouTube? Matt Massa Beer Reviews back with a beer I'm like bonkers excited for. Spencer, the American Trappist Brewery. This is their quad. Yeah, special reserve Monk's Reserve Ale, a Trappist quadruple. That's what makes a Trappist brewery for me, to be perfectly honest with you. Loving me my table beers, loving me my singles, love me my doubles and triples and all that fun stuff. The dark's great. Quads are really kind of where I judge, to be perfectly honest with you, my Trappist breweries. And I've been chomping at a bit to try this one. I know it's been around. It's been out and about for some time now. I have not had it. So here we go. We're just going to dive right into it head first. What does it say in the back here? It says, fragrant, robust, and full-bodied. This classic Trappist quadruple is mahogany in color and crowned with a dense, tan, frothy head. Its malt-forward hop profile yields to a warm finish. Brewed and bottled by the Spencer Brewing Monks of St. Joseph's Abbey. 50 degrees. This is probably spot on 50. I think I got the correct glass here. And store upright. Yeah. It says Best by 3/04/24. So this is either half a year old or it is 2.5 years old. I would go half year old. Some breweries do 5 years. Trappist breweries, Belgian breweries do 5 years. Some do 3. I'm guessing this is 3. So yeah. This is B7, so I assume this is batch 7. This is B7 and has a time 8:26. So batch 7, 8:26 on that date, which would make it March 4th. So you're talking about, almost spot on, being that it is 10/16, almost exactly half a year old. So let's just give it a full pour. Get the classic, my favorite glass of all time, to be perfectly honest with you. The Duvel, oversized Duvel snifter, or tulip. I apologize. That is, for me, like, gun to my head, what glass do you have to use for the rest of my life? It would be this one right here. It's just quintessentially fantastic. Oversized, you can pour anything in it. Drinks every beer fantastically. And label-wise, it's cool. It's what Spencer's label has been on their first original beer. Just that kind of classic kind of purplish bluish color you see typically with that color pattern you see with a lot of Belgian style quads or quads, Trappist quads. I keep on saying Belgian style. It's not. It's Trappist. Yeah. So khaki colored head to it. It's dark. It's rich. There's mahogany tones in there. It's not super hazy, turbid. On the pour, you're not going to be able to see this on your view, but when I poured it, it had a clarity to it. I usually like them have a little bit of murk to them. We'll see what's what, but it definitely looks a part of a Belgian quad. You can get into it dark. Yeah, a little darker than what you'd expect, I guess. It's good nose. It's not as rich as I would hope it to be. You're talking about 10.2%. There's red fruit here, a little bit of bready notes, a little bit of soft sweetness. Kind of done and done there. A lot of times on these quads, I want a little bit more kind of richer, more adulty kind of sweetness. Kind of lacking that here. But it definitely has Belgian quaddy vibes to it. The way that breadiness is coming off, those red fruits are coming off. That little bit of pop of kind of elevated sweetness beyond malt with that Belgian candied sugar. You're getting all the telltale signs. What you typically get from like a Belgian quad. Just a little bit more muted for my taste. Or my nose, I guess you'd say. Let's see what my taste says. Cheers. Well, we can kind of say it's way bigger in the taste than I thought it would be based off nose. It's actually one of the more expressively explosive quads I've had in quite some time. Almost Americanized in a sense. It kind of makes sense a little bit in that way. It's bursting at the seams from a hop presence, which is not something you typically get in a Belgian quad, to that Belgian candied sugar. A yeast phenolic, that fruitiness you're getting off here is super violent, super explosive. I mean, this is based off of the nose I got in this beer. I was expecting a completely different beer. It flipped the script completely. I thought it was going to be a bit more mellow, maybe a subtle little sweetness, a little bit of kind of yeasty vibes. No, everything here is pinned to the floor. Everything is to the max. It's gunned. It's pedal to the metal in this thing. And I kind of like it. I mean, the only thing I'm really going to knock this beer on, I think, is mouthfeel. And while it's okay, it's almost like I want the mouthfeel to be insanely creamy along with everything else. Again, starting from the beginning. The sweetness, that Belgian candy sugar comes through in spades. That beet sugar, and it tastes like beet sugar, comes through rich, vibrant, but not overpowering for how big everything else is in the beer. I really have to keep saying that throughout this whole beer review. So the Belgian candy sugar shows like a champ. That Belgian yeast, it's big, it's fruity, it's bready, it's almost too aggressive, but stops short. That's, I think, the theme of this beer. Everything's here is super aggressive, but stops short of being too much. There's a hop presence here. You're getting a bittering, but since that sweetness is elevated, since that yeast is very powerful, it just kind of makes sense. There's a nice, almost toasty, not roasty, but toasty, nutted malt here. It's more toasty, probably malty graininess than nuttiness, but I feel like I'm getting a little nutty vibes off of it. And really, everything here is, like I said, the nose is kind of like, okay, kind of lulling you to sleep over here, but bam, it just hits you hard and fast. Like I said, in a very Americanized way. It's almost like, you see a lot of these Pilsners, lagers, even, when non-Trappist breweries make Belgian quads, a lot of time there's a little bit more aggressiveness to them. The big fault in United States breweries, though, is a lot of times, and this is just my personal opinion, but I believe it to be true because it's my opinion, I think they really missed the mark completely on Belgian candied sugar. Yeast, a lot of times, too, they'll come off with like a weirdo yeast, but it's that Belgian candied sugar that really kind of disconnects me from them, because I grew up in Belgian beer. That's what I drank. That's what I cut my teeth in. So when I have these American breweries, and they're quite tasty beers, they're just like, the Belgian candied sugar is kind of off. Authentic to a T here. But everything is kind of jacked up to the 9s, or 11s, I guess you would say. Let's go Spinal Tap on this in a very fun way. This is a fun beer. This is going to be like one of the better quads I've had as of late. It's still in the conversation. It's not to the top. It's in there. But, if we whittle down the best Trappist quads, this is not making that Mount Rushmore, even with the very few and far between Belgian Trappist breweries, or I should just say Trappist breweries. But man, it's fun. It is very, very fun. Very fun. And nothing what I expected on the nose. I like that. That's fun. I'm glad I picked that up. I am insanely curious to see what this tastes like in years. My mantra on this channel when it comes to aging beer is Core 4, bottle condition, and we allow the Belgian candied sugar beers in as Core 4. With how aggressive this is, without being overpowering, I'm really curious to see what this turns into with time. Like, I'm talking 5-10 years plus. With how vibrant this is, I could see this turning into a world beater ager. Let's put it this way. If I could get decently priced cases of this, I would buy way too much of this in anticipation of this aging into an all-time gem. Because that's what happens when these beers tend to be really tasty, but a little bit too aggressive. Those are the ones you really want to hold on to. And those are the ones that are kind of gonna work themselves out over time. I'm not going to be able to keep the other two. I gave one to Keith. The other two for that long, but I am going to track some of this down, and I'm going to try to age it because I'm excited. Let's put it that way. Is it one of the better quads I've had? I was like, yes. Is it one of the more interesting ones? Very close up to the top. Value and availability. I want to say paid $15.99 for a 4-pack of this. $15.99 for a 4-pack of Belgian quad. That's spot on what they should be pretty much from American breweries, but we get actually Euro breweries at that price point, so I'm cool with it. And leave you with, if you like what, off the shelf, mind you, and leave you with, if you like what, we like this. I think you have to go into this an open mind, but if you like classic beers, you like Belgian beers, you like quads more specifically, but you're okay with a little bit of American F-duggery, you will absolutely love this beer. There you go. Review in the books. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Down there if you want to talk about it. Massive Beers if you want to check me out doing the social media stuff. Let me know if you've had this, please. Beer Massive, podcasting stuff. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the review. Hopefully enjoying a little bit of Spencer right now. Hopefully see you next time. Cheers.